Okay, so this video is looking at a great Ant-Man film figure. I recently came across this figure, which is a great version of Ant-Man in his film costume. But it actually came on this card and is called Giant Man. For those who don't know, in the comics Hank Pym was the first Ant-Man, and as well as being able to shrink himself down to microscopic size, he could also increase his size to that of a giant and was known as Giant Man. Which is genius really, as the name Ant-Man is inside Giant Man, it just has a G and I in front of it. In the film, Scott Lang is Ant-Man and briefly becomes Giant Man during a scene in the third Captain America film Civil War. That's what this figure is from. The line is called Miniverse and is a collection of smaller figures which I'm not really interested in. But as this is Giant Man, he towers over the small figures, and in actual fact what you really get is a really good Ant-Man figure which is in scale with the regular sized figures. In the comics, Hank Pym had a different costume as Giant Man than when he was Ant-Man, but if it was a spur of the moment thing, then he had the same costume in either guise. And it's the same in Civil War. Scott Lang doesn't have time to change costumes, so Giant Man looks exactly the same as Ant-Man, just much taller of course. I'm going to be using this as Ant-Man rather than Giant Man, as I don't have any of the small figures for him to appear big with, and I do need a movie version of Ant-Man, so it's a really good find. And if you like your Ant-Man figures to be small, then this pack also included this small figure of Ant-Man riding two ants, so you get him in at least two of his different sizes. How awesome is that? As he's a big figure but in a small line, they had to sell him on the card in pieces. I could only see the torso at first and thought you had to buy the legs separately, but they were underneath the torso, you just had to assemble them yourself. Whichever way you look at it, this is a great set and gets 10 out of 10 from me. Well done, Hasbro. Okay, so that was a look at a great Ant-Man film figure, and hopefully you'll join me on another video sometime.